If everyone in the world had your personality, what would the world look like? For a few months there would be peace on Earth. Then everything would collapse because nothing important is getting done. It would take much longer for decisions to be made. It's whatever you guys want, honestly. I personally don't mind. It's whatever you guys want. I'm good with either or. You guys can decide. I'm not too picky. You guys can choose. None of my favorite shows would ever get cancelled. Exclamation mark. No one would be driving in the left lane except to pass. Except I like to pass everyone, so would everyone be driving in the left lane? The universal greeting would be, "Hey man." Even the presidential address. Even the Pope being elected. Even what a baby says when it's first born. It would be quiet. What does your crazy neighbor do to be labeled, the crazy neighbor? She dug up my fancy flowers and replanted them in her own yard, 15 feet away. The old lady who lived below me left me multiple cryptic letters blaming me for the birds chirping too loudly in the mornings. Not pet birds. The sparrows and shit outside. This went on for months. Used to live in a little town of 300 people where we had an elderly neighbor named Gladys. She would routinely look near our garbage can outside and take the recyclable bottles and cans we would leave for her. After we cleaned out a fish tank, we put the gravel and fake plants in a bag and left it on top of the garbage can because it was already full. About a week later, Gladys hollered at me while I was outside to come over as she wanted to show me something. She had taken that bag we had left and planted the fake plants along the side of her house. She said she wasn't real confident that they would make it, but so far they seemed to be thriving. I could only nod and compliment her on her green thumb. He eats my flowers. In his defense, he told us that he has been doing it for years when he introduced himself after we bought the house. He also brought over frozen cookies in a plastic bag as a housewarming gift, but wasn't sure what was in them. We share a side yard, and as he was talking to us, I noticed his all-brick house was actually roofing shingles, layered to look like brick. It started to register that he may be a little out there. He's a great neighbor. Just an older, eccentric stoner who keeps to himself and eats my flowers. No shame. Comes over to my yard and eats my lilies raw. Or brings scissors and clips the heads to boil and make jam. It's crazy to me, but we have embraced it. I planted a couple raspberry, blackberry, and blueberry bushes 3 years ago, when we first moved in, on the side yard we share, as well as a few knockout rose bushes. I told him to help himself to berries, roses anytime, especially before the birds do. The bushes have all gone insane, and the entire side of my house is now a yearly buffet for my neighbor. Having a decent relationship with a crazy guy the first share a property line with is worth some dead-headed flowers. Had a neighbor who wouldn't let anyone use his driveway because he didn't want it to get dirty. Anyone, including himself. He parked on the street outside. If he thought you were having a party, he would drag a bunch of plastic bags full of God knows what to the end of his driveway so no one could turn around it. One time I came home and he was outside hosing it down in the rain. To his credit, I've never seen a cleaner driveway. She has a penchant for going around sticking nails in people's tires at night. This has happened dozens of times to nearly everyone on the street. Though she's slowed down since more people started installing video cams and motion sensor lights in their driveways. In your opinion, which animal is the most suspicious, and why? Sun bear. They just look like a man in a bear costume always. Groundhogs. How do they control the winter? Raccoons. Eye masks. Sneaky little hands. Snooping around your garbage. Sleeping above your garage. The fly because he's always rubbing his hands together all nefariously and shit. Cockroaches. Them suckers don't die and breed faster rabbits. So the question exists. Where are all of the darn roaches? Hammerhead sharks. Did you know they can see around themselves in a perfect circle? Tell me, who needs to see that much? Sounds fishy to me. Before you actually learned, how did you think babies were born? I knew the mom and dad did something. So I believed the kiss caused a child to be born. I also didn't understand pregnancy. So combining those two things, young me came to the conclusion that a man blows into a woman's mouth until she blows up wider and wider. Of course, where the child came into play I still did not know. I thought it was just a normal thing to happen to grown women. Like, you just randomly get pregnant when you're mom age. 20s to 30s. I always knew they came out the vagina though. I just thought women randomly get pregnant after getting married. I assumed you just bought them from the store like everything else. When I was 4, Mom went to the hospital and I was told that 2 baby sisters would be coming home soon. New things arrived either by car or by mail. So I must have checked the family car and mailbox dozens of times before Mom arrived home with the babies in the car. I just thought that it was some almost magical thing where a lot of love between 2 people would just cause a baby to appear out of thin air. I thought that if 2 people loved each other enough, then zap, suddenly a baby spawns inside the woman. What's a hobby that's dying in popularity? Pen pals. As a teenager, I loved writing letters to new people and receiving letters from all over the country and the world. Everything is instant now, but nothing beats that feeling of getting a letter in the mail that is specifically for you. That is not a bill. Ad circular and comes from someone that genuinely wants to brighten your day. Model trains. There is a store in our town square that has been there for like 50 years that specializes in model trains. It's called a train and toy store. But there are almost no toys there. The store is interesting to walk around in, if you are not claustrophobic. But he must not sell very much because he can't pay the rent anymore. He is closing and moving out of town to some building he owns. Again, the stuff looks cool, but I have never seen anyone buy anything. Postcard collecting. I buy a postcard of each place I visit. Some places I have visited in the world. Very hard to find a postcard. Hardest country. As we're only here for a day on a cruise. Dominica. In the UK it is 100% croquet. I know, what a cliché. When I was younger everyone had a croquet set and it was a great way to enjoy time with friends on a summer day in the garden. Whereas now I don't know anyone that still owns one. Maybe a strange one, but this question got me thinking. Slot cars. Stamp collecting. It used to be a huge thing but not anymore. Probably because of the rise of email, very few people send letters anymore. They have them at estate sales all the time for super cheap. How has video games positively impacted your life? Gaming has helped me cope with anxiety. I enjoy challenging games that can be stressful. Essentially, I am able to shift my anxiety over to the stress of a fun, difficult game, thereby neutralizing my general anxiety over life's uncertainties. In other words, the focal point of what stresses me out becomes an interactive simulation that I can engage. My brain, then, no longer fixates on the abstract, uncontrollable chaos of that which is. Life. Play Minecraft. Install mods for Minecraft. Learn Java to make my own mods. Study computer science. Get a career as a software developer. I am dyslexic and had trouble reading as a child, so I always had subtitles on when playing games, and it really helped me learn the read. Learning English. In 3rd grade I discovered I like video games and started watching YouTube videos about different games. OFC Minecraft was the first. But there were no videos in my language, so I just watched some videos in English, and as time passed on I just started to understand what people were saying. I met my wife playing an 8-year-old game online. She lived halfway across the country at the time. Making friends that I certainly never would have made without video games as a mutual interest. A little over 10 years ago I joined a small video game forum that probably never had more than 2 dozen active members at a time. But despite the small number, it was an extremely diverse group with people scattered all over the world. We've had amazing conversations and have created great friendships through this now completely archaic website and message board. The day the owner decides to deactivate the website, that will probably be the last time I have any detailed conversations about video games, as I don't really see myself ever joining another group. I've just had too much fun with these guys, and well, I'm enjoying it while it lasts.
Subscribe, my brothers.